Networking Squared, we are back. Thank you for tuning in today. And I just really love talking about all this networking stuff that we've got coming up. And if you like the Blue Man Group or Stomp and you want to come out and see something like that, we've got something coming up we're going to talk about in the fourth segment. It is going to be a hoot. You're not going to want to miss this.
I know I'm excited about it. That's for sure.
You wanted to do it like right away. So
yep.
we got a great event coming up, and we're going to talk about that later on in the show. Today, right now, I want to introduce Richard Kroll. I want to welcome him to the studio. Richard, thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my honor, Jerry. I just want to let you know that, and Al, to let you know that I'm not in the listening area, so I have to listen live on Saturdays on through the webcast, and so it's a blast to be here in the city and listening to you guys live. But I listen from my home, right from my laptop every Saturday, so it's an honor to be here.
That is great stuff. And you're not from the Detroit area. You really drive in a long way every morning, don't you?
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Detroit, but I actually live closer to Toledo over in the Irish Hills, close to Michigan International Speedway. So.
Ooh, I like MIS.
Yeah, Al's into all that NASCAR stuff. So I'm assuming the $4 a gallon gas is kind of hitting you pretty hard, much driving as you're doing.
That's a fun little perk that I get to enjoy on my drive here, 4 hours a day.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's the kind of passion and heart that we look for in the people that we want on the show, Al.
Yep.
We've got we're going to talk about Huron Academy and what an academy is. And by the looks on our faces, we're just kind of clueless about how this even works. So tell us a little bit about Huron Academy.
Okay, well, I guess one of the first things that people need to understand is that that charter schools or academies are public schools. And so the way we phrase it is we have traditional public schools that you'd have in your local neighborhoods that we've all grown up with. But a charter school or an academy is a tuition-free public school that coexists inside the community. And so it's available for free to the folks nearby.
Yeah, and that was something where I never, ever had known that. I always assumed it was something that was private.
Yeah, and because we do have a private school feel when you come on campus and into the building, people always ask, well, what's the tuition here? And we say, well, it's free because it's a public school. It's like, how can you do that? And so it spins off on some really wonderful conversations with parents and students that want to attend.
All right.
So this is kindergarten through 12th grade?
Well, our school is kindergarten through 6th grade.
Okay.
And so, but traditionally public schools, charter schools are available from kindergarten through 12th, depending on where you want to capitalize or what part of the community you want to serve.
So with your school, then, what happens on 7th grade? Is there another charter school they can go to then, or?
Well, that's one thing we're looking at. We do have the ability. We are chartered to be able to go through 12th grade, but we've decided to limit and be excellent kindergarten through 6th grade.
Okay.
And so when parents come to that 7th grade point, we try to assist them to find another school that would be best appropriate for their child for 7th grade, whether it be another charter school, whether it be a private school, or a local traditional public school.
All right, so if we're talking about the charter school, the academy, is that different than going to a parochial school then?
Well, yeah, I guess the two main things that I'd see between a parochial school would be and a charter school or academy would be, number one, the religious instruction. We don't have religious instruction. We're a public school. Number two, that most parochial schools that I know of charge tuition, and we are tuition free. We're a free public school.
Okay, now Al, we're business people. Okay. This free thing?
Yeah.
Can you explain to me how that would work?
Well, it's free to attend. It's not free to run. So,
okay, that's
we receive state funding just like a traditional public school would be.
Okay.
For every student that attends, we get a set amount from the state. And but the major difference is that a traditional public school can float bonds and build their schools through public funds. We have to use our own money to build or rent or lease our buildings, and so it kind of puts us at a disadvantage at first. But we're very financially prudent and we're good stewards of our money, and so we know how to provide the best education possible and then take on those extras as well.
What are the primary differences that you see? Now, you've been exposed to public schools versus the charter schools. What are the primary differences that somebody that's not sure that somebody would see?
Well, I think the primary difference, especially with Huron Academy, is strong academics. We're the number one charter school in Ferris State University. We're chartered by Ferris State University.
All right,
and
now,
we're their number one.
Or what does that mean?
Well, they're the chartering organization. In other words, the people who decided, the board of directors that decided they wanted to start a school inside Sterling Heights had to find a chartering organization, either a university, a community college, or the city, to be able to charter. And then they provided us with the ability to charter a school, which means start a public school.
Okay.
So you can't just decide to do this and do this on your own, and there's only a limited amount. So first of all, we are chartered through Ferris State, but we're their number one school that they charter. We're also in the top 25 in Michigan for all charter schools, so we pride ourselves in strong academics. Another thing is small class sizes. A public school, a community public school, has to take as many students as live in that district, and that means that they might have 30, 35, 40 students in the class. We purposely limit ours and make them very small.
All right, so you're talking about they have to take all of the people, but what about the school of choice? Now, does that affect you also?
Well, that's an interesting question, because we are a school of choice.
Okay.
So everyone can come to us as long as they can get to us. We don't provide busing, so parents have to be committed enough to drive their child to our school, pick them up and drop them off. But we also offer free daycare. So from 6 in the morning till 6 at night, parents have the ability to take advantage of that. So if a parent's a working parent, which most are, they can drop their child off at our facility, and we're going to provide free daycare from 6 o'clock until 8 when the school starts. And then from 3:15 till 6 p.m., we offer that again. And we have academic games, we have tutoring, we have to have after-school clubs. I mean, everything imaginable for these kids, not just a glorified babysitting service or latchkey, where they kind of sit in front of a video.
All right, so the parents aren't paying for any of this?
No, this is all paid for through their taxes like everyone else would.
How do you qualify? Now, I'm just thinking back in my day when Al and I were in school, and you'd probably look at us and go, "No, we don't want you to. We're probably looking for somebody that's, really smart," or, what is it that you look for? Or how do you say yes or no to people?
Well, it's a public school, so it's first come, first serve.
Okay.
The only thing that we have maybe in our favor or maybe even against us in some ways is we have a limited amount of class sizes or classes that are seats available in our classes. So once we reach that number, we can, but we won't. We won't increase class size.
What is the class size? You said that's very small, but you didn't say the number.
All right. Well, for kindergarten through second grade, it's 19.
Wow.
And from, third grade to sixth grade, it's 25. We won't have any more.
What a
Because
difference.
Our board has decided that's
got to make a
optimal.
huge difference.
And it's research-based. The smaller class sizes, higher student achievement, more personalized service for, the children and the parents. And so...
Okay, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around all of this stuff. Al's ready to go have more children because he's like, I'd like to get involved in this.
I'm excited about it, Jerry, but not that excited.
Okay, all right, maybe not. Where do you get your teachers then? How does that work?
Well, they're certified teachers.
Okay.
And,
do they have a special vision? Are these people really dedicated, or what would be the difference?
Well, I would say that they are especially dedicated because we have to take on fully all of the costs that can't be floated by a bond or some of the things that traditional public schools do. One of the ways that we have to lower our costs is we can't pay the same union rates as a traditional public school, and so we offer a lower salary for our teachers. They have the same certification. They've paid tens of thousands of dollars. They most likely have student loans. They have children and families just like everyone else. But they see the benefit of having almost a private school type atmosphere,
right,
and smaller class sizes as being a benefit. But I would say the vast majority of my teachers are just really excited about being involved in something special, unique, and wonderfully excellent.
Well, I know that. I have a son who's a senior right now, and I know he talks about his class sizes. There's 35, 40 kids in these classes, and in some situations, it's chaos.
Right.
And to be able to take that and have it to be half that size, what a difference that would make, and how much more content and input they could get from the teacher.
Absolutely. And that's something that, is a disadvantage to some, and, it's an advantage to us. We're going to capitalize on that smaller class size, but the funding is available, because if you can increase to 40, then you're putting 40 kids in a class and you're still getting the same amount. And so it helps the traditional public schools stay alive.
Never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask, is there a waiting list to get into your school?
There are some classes right now that we have waiting lists. Our main focus right now is our kindergarten classes. We have a number of openings now. We have this big event we're calling the Kindergarten Roundup coming up on this Monday, the 18th at 7 p.m., and we're really excited about that. I hope we could talk a little bit about
after
that.
After the break, we definitely want to get into more details about that, because I'm excited about it. And actually, when I see what you guys are offering, I may actually show up there myself.
I think you should. Pony rides and zebras, I'm telling you. You gotta be there.
Hey, that's right. I heard the pony rides, and I'm like all over it.
I think Networking Squared should stop out and maybe talk to some of the people. Maybe we could do a couple of interviews and see what it's all about. I've heard my first real touching on all of this academy and the charter was in Detroit. Now, I always heard about them wanting to do charter schools in Detroit, and I didn't know what that means. So what you're saying was, if somebody wanted to do a charter school in Detroit, and I know they want to start a lot of these, they actually have to have the sponsor?
Yes, they'd have to have the sponsor. The city of Detroit has sponsored a number. A number of universities have charter schools in Detroit, but the large number that they're looking at now is to decentralize the Detroit public school system and provide them with a possible alternative to some of the failing schools that they currently have.
All right, well, we're going to touch on this. I want to touch up on the Roundup. Is that what it's called?
Kindergarten Roundup. Yahoo.
Kindergarten Roundup. Sounds like, you'll fit in, Al. We're going to touch on that. We're going to learn a little bit more. I want to talk a little bit more charter. You are here with Richard Kroll. We're talking about the Huron Academy, and that is in Sterling Heights on Big Beaver, 16 Mile Road, Metropolitan Parkway. Call it whatever you want. We're Networking Squared. We'll be right back.